What's up, everybody? So today I'm gonna go over the 3 days of training when working for the Amazon delivery driver. And by the way, I forgot to mention on the previous video I did about how can I apply for Amazon delivery driver. I forgot to mention that Amazon, believe it or not, if you don't know, Amazon is not does not own those delivery the DSP. Okay, it's pretty much it's like an independent contract, and Amazon is actually partnered with DSP. So this is a third party. If you want to take it a step further than that. So just want to clear that out, real quick. If people, if for those who do not know, may or may not know. So, excuse me, goddamn. I had a little gas coming up. But anyway, so for my building, right? Oh, I forgot. Before I even go any further, make sure if you have not done so, subscribe to the channel so that way I can provide more content for you guys, and of course answer some questions, anything that I can help for you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, I am here for you guys. So, if you have any questions, of course, feel free to put it on the comment section down below, or email me at greatenzo97@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends and your pals or your family and everybody else to tune in into my channel. And don't forget to, keep the notification bell on so that way you don't miss any videos that I upload. So now on to the training. So I don't know how it is I don't know how it is for all Amazon buildings around the world, around the states, around the entire United States, but for my building, it pretty much was it was a 3 days training. I know some buildings, I guess they're around 2 days of training, and I guess what I'm understanding, some were like 1 day of training, which is really crazy because I don't know how the hell you managed to do 1 day of training and then the next day they say, all right, you're good to go. That wasn't with our building. Our building, it was 3 days of training. So the first day it was pretty much easy. All you're doing is just basically going all the modules, which is pretty long. You're gonna be there for quite a while. And it's gonna get boring. You're probably gonna fall asleep from here and there. I never fall asleep. I was the type of guy that likes to kind of glued in to kind of watch the video and watch all the modules and stuff, so that way I know what to expect. Even though I kind of knew already because I studied it before I did the training on what to expect when working for Amazon delivery. So I wanted to be prepared so that way I know what to expect. And plus I knew somebody who used to work for Amazon delivery, and I kind of picked his brain for on how did he manage to work for the delivery, how did he like it, how he didn't like it, and etc. So I managed to pick his brain out and kind of make it my own, you know what I mean? So, or learn from him so that way I can kind of transcend into making it my own, and of course watching through YouTube and stuff like that. So anyway, so that first day is gonna be boring as hell. You ain't gonna do much. You're gonna go through the modules, and you're gonna have quizzes, and you're gonna have a final exam after that. Throughout the training, each day of training, you're gonna have exams, which is pretty easy, to tell you the truth. It's really easy. I mean, it's not really that difficult. They want you to pass the exam, otherwise you cannot be able to work for the job. You cannot be able to have the job because you gotta pass it. So that's pretty much the gist of it for day one. Day two is where you get to learn how to drive the vans, and you do a little bit of modules, but you're out there you're learning how to drive the vans, and make sure how to back up, how to reverse without hitting the cones, how to go straight without hitting the cone, going three-point turn without hitting the cones. And basically the bottom line is you want to make sure you don't hit the cone, because if you hit the cones, you fail the test. So You know, it's basically a driving test. It's no different than when you go out there and you do the DMV and you take the driving test. And if you don't, if let's say for like parallel parking or straight parking, you know, you have the cones on each side. If you hit the cones right off the bat, you already failed the test. So it's no different than, you know, when you know, for the delivery job, you know, you make sure you don't hit the cone, otherwise you fail the test. So that was their main prerogative, was for that. They didn't care how long it was gonna take for you to get it, to you know, to be able to do it correctly or whatever. They just want to make sure you don't hit the cones. That was their main thing, at least in my opinion. Everybody's training is going to be different. Or everybody's training experience is going to be different. I'm just showing you guys, I'm sending you guys my experience on how the training went and how the training process is and what to expect, basically. So I gotta tell you though that I wasn't nervous. I wasn't not nervous. I wasn't too sure on how was it gonna be on driving the vans, because although I driven vans before personally, like, you know, like Dodge vans and stuff like that, I never quite drove like a heavy ass van. At least you can call it a truck, because technically it almost looks like a truck, or like a transit bus and stuff like that. But you know, when I started driving the van, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Actually, it was a lot easier, especially now it's like more technology based. And I mean, I know every van's different, so, you know, but for the most part, driving the van is actually not too bad. At least to me, it wasn't. I know a lot of people were some of them it took them a while to get used to driving the van. For me, it wasn't really that bad. You know, now having said that, I might have a different opinion as, you know, as I go along on driving the van itself, you know, because I'm going to be turning and all that stuff, you know, around the street and stuff. So, you know, all we did was just drive around the cones and stuff like that. We didn't really literally go out there and drive around the city of Fort Myers, which is where the building is at, and, you know, and really have that type of experience, you know. So, you know, so I would say though the hardest one for as far as like the driving test goes, the hard part was to back up to do a reverse parallel. That one was the toughest one, because you had to make sure that not only that you look at the right rearview mirror, but you also had to make sure that you look. Usually they will have like a little dash, like a little camera, like a reverse backup camera. It's like a little small, but you can still be able to see you know, where the cones is at. You have to make sure you pay attention on, you know, the camera. Otherwise, if you don't pay attention to the camera, you're not gonna know if you're too close to the cones, or if you're about to hit it, or what have you. Usually they'll let you know that, hey, you're about to hit the cones and stuff like that. You know, but after a while, once you get the hang of it, they're not going to tell you. So, you know, which is common, because for me, I didn't really need nobody to tell me. Especially if I found out, as soon as I found out there was actually a camera there, I was like, oh shit, it was very valuable. So I didn't really need nobody to tell me. I wanted to kind of figure it out on my own. That's just how I am. I've been like that since I was a child. I've always been the type of person where I always wanted to figure stuff out on my own, and without having nobody to kind of help me out, or depend on anybody to do the work for me. You know, I don't like that. You know, if I really do need help, I would just ask questions. I don't want people to do it for me. I just want people just tell me how to do it. You know, if I really need the help. That's just how I am. That's just how I'm wired. Everybody's different, but that's just who I am. I've always been like that ever since I was a child. So when the trainer was letting me know that I was hitting the cones, and she pointed out that there's actually a camera there set up that shows you that you're about to hit the cones on the back of the truck or the van, whatever you want to call it. I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't really need her to tell me anything now, because now that I can kind of figure it out of how to drive the van, because I always have this thing on my mind where like you want to picture it like if it's your own personal vehicle, like if it's your own personal car, your own personal van. Like treat your car, or treat the van, in this case, treat the van how you will want to treat your own van, if that makes any sense. In other words, treat that vehicle like if it's your own. One of my teachers in high school used to teach me that. I used to work in a little auto body shop around the Technical College area. I was still in high school, but the high school I was at, you were able to go to like different academies and stuff. So I was in the Auto Body Collision Academy, and this teacher, I'll never forget it. Whenever he would tell me, whenever job I'm working at, whatever job I'm working at for cars, like, if I'm painting the cars or welding for a car or a part of the car, he would always tell me to act like this is your car. If this was your car, how would you want to do the job well if it was your car? So ever since then, I always have that image in my mind whenever I'm in a vehicle. You know what I mean? So I took it from him. So shout out to him, man. I learned it. Most of you guys know. Some of you, if you're watching, if you're around my area at the time in Miami, that was where I used to live at, you guys know who it is. So yeah, I still remember to this very day. So anyway. So that's how I would advise you guys. Treat the van, act like if it's your van. Act like this is your truck or your van. I'm just gonna call it truck, because it almost looks like a truck. So act like this is your truck. How would you want it? Depending on your driving skills, you want to make sure that you don't hit the cone. So kind of give yourself enough space in both sides, so that way you have plenty of room to be able to back up or go forward without getting too close to the cones. So that's how I pictured it. That's how I did it, and it was pretty easy. Like I said, the only part that was hard, it was that the reverse parallel. That one was a little bit challenging. It took me a little bit to kind of figure it out. So considering that it's a big ass van or a big ass truck. So that's pretty much adjusted for day 2. Now for day 3, it was pretty short. All there is, the modules on day 3, which by the way, back on day 2, before I go and jump into day 3, the modules was short. And as soon as you finish the driving test, you're pretty much good to go. And it was almost similar to day 3. Day 3, it wasn't really that much module. And just like with day 1, and I forgot to mention for day 2, on day 3, you also need to pass an exam. So if there's 3 exams you need to pass. You need to pass for day 1, day 2, and day 3. So you gotta pass 3 exams. If you fail either or of the exams, you're done. So they want you to pass the exam. No matter how, they don't care how you do it, if you cheat or whatever. At least in my building. In my building, they were really, really laid back. Almost a little too laid back. So they wouldn't care if you Google it up and you put in the answers and all that, which is not really a good look. Although in most cases you don't really need it, because to be honest with you, when you look at the modules, it's pretty much, it's more like common sense. You know what I mean? It's kind of common sense the way how they explain things on modules throughout different days and stuff throughout the training. It's pretty straightforward. So at least that's how I picture it. That's how I felt about it, of the training, of the module training. So yeah, the day 3 it's not really long. I was there throughout day 2, day 3. I was there pretty much, day 2 I was there for maybe an hour or 2. Day 3 they had me go a little bit longer, even though I finished earlier than expected. Considering, like I said, it was a little easier than what I thought it would be. A lot of it was pretty much straightforward. but they wanted me to stay a little longer because they wanted everybody, because they want to do like a little group meeting to explain the job itself, on what to expect, and they basically show you face to face on what the job is. Kind of similar to what you're gonna be, what you read on the module. Now they're gonna show it to you on face to face. Which that's why I say, you know, for me, I think I talked about it on Amazon Warehouse as far as like training goes. Training for me, the reading of it kind of defeats the purpose, because eventually, at least for me, I'm old school. I'm more face to face and trial and error. You know, I feel like, you know, I feel it's better that you learn it in person, so that way you know what to expect physically. You know what to do and what not to do, and more importantly, you know, as you go along, you're gonna have your own trial and errors anyway. You're gonna make mistakes regardless of what. I mean, that's just part of nature. You know, we're human beings, so you know. So anyway, they cover through that. That's what they wanted to do, but because they were, you know, some people were taking so long of taking the module, finishing up the module for day 3, they did like a little private meeting for the ones who have finished, like myself, and they just explained it from there. So, and I was there, that point, since it was a little longer than 2 hours, I was there for like, give or take, around 4 hours. You know, the longest one, the longest hours, or the longest, out of the days I trained, the longest one I stayed for, it was day 1, because it was a lot of I was gonna say marbles. It was a lot of modules. I mean, a lot. That's what I'm telling you. Day 1 is gonna be boring as hell, and all you're doing is just covering up through all those modules and just doing the quiz and the exam. That's it. You ain't doing jack. So, that's pretty much the judge of it for day 1. And that one I stayed for like pretty much 8 hours. But you gotta understand, keep in mind that every building is different, every state is different, and every building of different state is different. Even if, you know, throughout the different buildings. I take it back. Every building period is different. It don't matter if it's a different state or what have you, because I noticed, I learned, because I did an interview through two buildings that were around my area, and each one of them did it, like, the way how they handled the interview was completely different. One was more face to face, and the other one, which the one I'm currently at now, it wasn't really more like an interview. You pretty much already got a job. All they want you to do is just fill out the signature for you know, the schedule that you want to pick out, and that's pretty much just it. Oh, speaking of schedule, I forgot to mention on, you know, about the application on my video, about you know, filling out application. I forgot to mention that you are allowed to have a flexible schedule, so they usually pick out the schedule that you want to have. It kind of defeats the purpose, because after you finish your day 3 training, you're pretty much right away. You gotta, you know, they'll ask you again, like, which schedule you like to have again, and you know, let's say if it's Sunday through Thursday, and you want Tuesday or Wednesday off, or you can have it from Tuesday through Saturday, and you can have Tuesday or Wednesday off. This is pretty much similar to like that. So they'll ask you that again, only this time the manager will send you a message or call you or do it in person. For us, they did it through text messages. So, you know, it was more technology based than face to face. So that's pretty much adjusted it, guys. You know, the training itself, to be honest with you, it's not really hard. It's not really hard if you make it hard. If you make it hard on yourself, then that's on you. But for me, it's not really hard. I still would recommend it if you're the type of person who loves to drive and don't mind driving for like 10 hours. Then I would say, why not give it a shot? That's why I took it, because I love to drive, and you know, the only thing I hate driving is the fucking traffic. I hate traffic. I mean, who the hell wants to stay around traffic? You know, excuse my French, but yeah, I cannot stand traffic. I'll do whatever it takes to not go to traffic, even unless if it's around my work area. Like if I had to go to that route and it has to do with, you know, traffic, and I had to go to traffic, then, you know, it is what it is. Nothing you can do. But, you know, in the next probably couple weeks or so, I'm gonna do a video talking about, you know, an update, or do like a little update on how is the job working for, you know, the delivery job. How is it so far? Do I love it? Do I still love it? Do I hate it? I'll cover that up eventually. I don't want to jump to the conclusion yet. Although I did say that, you know, if, you know, I would recommend anybody who wants to give it a shot. I don't know, as far as like, you know, temporarily or permanent job, or like career growth wise or something like that. I don't know exactly what the experience would be, so I don't want to like jump to the conclusion like, hey, yeah, this is truly for everybody, because it probably isn't, and I'm pretty sure it's not. You know, I would say the same thing. I would have said at first for the delivery warehouse that the job is easy. You know, delivery warehouse, the Amazon warehouse delivery station. That's what I was trying to say. I would have said that job that it was easy, and jump to the conclusion, yeah, everybody can do it and all that. But I learned very quickly that it's not really for everybody. The job itself, it was easy, but the physicality is not really for everybody, because you're really going to be standing on your feet for like 10 hours. This one, you're going to be driving, you're going to be standing on your feet, but it's not really as much, because you're going to be just, all you're doing is just, the only time you're standing on your feet is when you're loading out and when you are delivering packages. That's pretty much the gist of it. But like I said, I don't want to jump to conclusion yet. That's why I say I'm going to give it a couple of weeks before I do a video on you know, if the job is still worth it, you know, something related to that, you know, because I want to give enough time to see how my body feels, how I feel physically, mentally, you know. I want to give it some time. So with that said, if you have any questions, by the way, I hope I helped you guys out, you know, to get a gist of how the training is. You know, I don't see too many people on the YouTube. They don't really cover basis to basis on you know, how the training is, how the full training is exact. So I figured, like, you know, I do this video for you guys to kind of help you out, to get the for people who had just applied for the delivery job, they can kind of get the gist of, you know, what the training is going to be about. And like I said, everybody's different, but I wouldn't be surprised if when you go to training, it'll be the exact same way. So with that said, if you have any questions, like I said, you can feel free to put it on the comment section down below, or if you want it private so nobody can see your questions, you can email me at greatenzo97@gmail.com. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, you can do me a solid favor and smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, smash that share button. And remember, you can make sure you keep that notification bell on so that way you don't miss any videos that I upload. Well, guys, until next time, peace out. Yeah, let's go. Oh.